Today at the City Club of Cleveland, we are listening to a Friday forum featuring Dr. Eugene Sanders, Chief Executive Officer of the Cleveland Metropolitan School District. We will return to our speaker in a minute for the traditional City Club questions, an important part of the City Club's rich tradition. So we encourage you to formulate questions for our speaker now and remind you that your questions should be brief and to the point. We remind you that members and guests alike are welcome to attend City Club forums and hope everyone listening will join the City Club. We hope you will join the City Club and become active in our ongoing civic dialogue. Please visit our website, www.cityclub.org, to see a full schedule of our upcoming programs. We welcome all of you here and those listening to WCPN 90.3 FM, WCLV, WTAM, or one of the many radio stations across the country. Our television broadcast partner is WVIZ PBS IdeaStream. Television broadcasts of the City Club are made possible by Cleveland State University and PNC. Our live webcast is supported by the University of Akron. Today is the annual Craig Spangenberg Memorial Forum, made possible by a special memorial gift from the law firm of Spangenberg, Shibley, and Lieber. We have at the head table today Peter Broadhead, representing the law firm. Will you please stand to be recognized for your support? Thank you. We are pleased to welcome guests at tables hosted by Baker and Hostetler, Cleveland Teachers Union, Cuyahoga Community College, Greater Cleveland Partnership, John Carroll University, Key Bank, Legal Aid Society of Cleveland, Medical Mutual of Ohio, PNC, Project ACT, Richard L. Bowen and Associates, Sisters of Charity Health System, and Squire Sanders and Dempsey. Thank you all for joining us today. Now we would like to return to our speaker for a traditional City Club question and answer period. We welcome questions from everyone, including guests. Holding the microphones today are City Club Program Director Carrie Miller and Development Director Cheryl Helden. First question, please.
Hello? Dr. Sanders?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for coming. I have a million questions, but I'll limit myself to a few.
Okay.
One, we need a very clear definition of what it is that the public schools are educating for. When you speak of 50% of the students or something like that that do not graduate, we must understand that there are students in the school that don't want to be there. They want to do something else. They don't want to read Shakespeare. They want to become a hairstylist or a manicurist, something else. There are those who want to go into other kinds of programs. There are those who need to earn money. We have to have. The question is, what can we do about this situation? Our schools are not jails, and so we need counselors. And what other solutions have you?
Thank you very much, and I'm glad you only asked me one question. The question is relevant in terms of the context of what is the purpose of public schools in the 21st century. And I think my response, I have multiple responses. I think that in order for the nation, for the United States of America to remain a strong international power, the education of the citizens that we educate is critical to that success. So what's at stake here is national defense. What's at stake here is the survival of the United States of America. So people often ask me, why should I care about what happens in Cleveland, Ohio? The reason you should care is that we are all interrelated, and there's integration of our culture, our people, our language. And so what happens in the Cleveland community will have a dramatic impact on everything that happens in Northeast Ohio. And so that's why public education is important. Now, we are of the belief that if professional educators put the right programs, the right initiatives, the right framing and context of the work that we do, that we can educate any child. We have outstanding teachers who can reach children who come to us with a number of different challenges and perspectives through the course of the day. But the work of educators in the 21st century is to answer that difficult question of how do I transform my current actions and behaviors to match what I am challenged with in 2010. If you're still working and using the methodology that you learned when you graduated from college in 1980, then we got a problem. And the problem is a disconnect between the work that we are engaging a 21st century student in. So we talk a lot about what is 21st century education. I talked briefly today about the importance of technology. And the way in which we learn today is dramatically different than the way in which we learned just a decade ago. And so the challenge before us is to maintain our strength and our credibility as a nation, to be able to compete against students from all across the world. About a year ago, I gave an assignment to a group of 8th graders, and I said to them for them to go home and to check the labels of the clothing in their closets, and check to see where it was made, and to check your iPods and your technology to see where it was made, and to email me their responses. And what became very clear is that items that we wear and drive and play and use are made all around the world. So for those of us waiting for the global economy to impact us, we're already there. And so what public schools must be able to embrace and engage in the 21st century is to be able to educate a significant population of Americans who can continue the strength of in which this country was founded. And that's the purpose, in my view, of public education in the 21st century.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Can you summarize or give us a snapshot on how the Cleveland school systems are in compliance with President Obama and the U.S. Department of Education's agenda of Race for the Top? And how are you working with the state of Ohio in that area? And do you anticipate the school system, Cleveland public school systems applying for some of this funding?
Thank you for your question, sir. The gentleman referenced Race to the Top. Race to the Top is a national education initiative by President Obama designed for school districts and organizations that are engaged in dramatic levels of school reform, designed to dramatically raise student achievement. And it's for all schools across the nation. And there are a couple of components of it that needs just a little bit of description. The first is that Race at the Top are funds where state departments of education specifically apply for. You probably remember reading about Ohio being in the first round of finalists for Race at the Top. We were, unfortunately, as a state, not successful in that first round. About a week ago, Ohio interviewed in the second round, because we were finalists in the second round, and those are funds that will be channeled through the state and ultimately down through each individual district, where both the union and the school administration have signed an agreement to work together on significant reform efforts. So that's one layer of dollars, and the district did indeed sign on, and we are anxiously awaiting the outcome of that opportunity. We actually have identified Race to the Top as part of the financial element that will fund the transformation plan. We anticipate that the funding for the academic transformation plan will be about $70 million, which we intend to raise external to the district. The other component of Race to the Top are funds that are specific for certain elements of school reform. The district did apply and receive about $27 million that we are applying starting this fall to work at a number of high schools in our district. Part of the requirements there is that 50% of the faculty that are currently there have to be transitioned out of the building, and at least 50% of the new faculty coming in. So those school improvement funds are very specific funds that are directed towards the high school effort nationwide. And so our district was successful in receiving those funds.